Markus, well, glad to have you here on the podcast. Thanks very much for coming on. And I mean, I know you were a great basketball player and played a lot of great years in Austria, but just introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, my name is Markus Carr. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I'm living in Austria now with my family, and we do events. Now I'm involved with a company called Crossovernation. We do events in Austria, Central Europe, basketball camps. I'm in my 30s. I won't tell you exactly how old I am. Still young enough to beat the young guys. But
Yeah.
all in all, everything's okay. A lot of people know me from playing basketball. Some people know me from some of the projects we've done with Red Bull. For example, the Red Bull King of the Rock. We try to do a movement here in Austria. We build basketball to the highest possible level.
All right, that's great. So let's just talk about your very beginnings. So let's just tell me about your neighborhood, like the place where you're born, your family.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in Sun Valley, California, which is a little bit outside of Los Angeles. I have actually a really big family. A lot of cousins, a lot of brothers, 2 brothers, 1 sister, and yeah, California is where we grew up, a little bit outside of LA. We actually ended up moving to LA and grew up in LA, and I went to college in the Valley, which is back more near where I was born.
So when was the first time you touched the basketball and you started playing?
Good question. When I was very young, I was playing American football, USA football, and I was really good, I think. And I think one day this guy in our apartment building where we lived put up a basketball court. He put up the first court I ever seen. It wasn't even a court. I think it was like a bucket. Yeah. And he put it up there. And I think around that time was the first time I touched a basketball. Actually, at the same time, a lot of basketball was happening. We had tryouts at my school. You know, I think I was 10 years old. And this guy put up the bucket at the same time. So a lot of basketball started happening at the same time. I think it was around 10 years old.
All right, so let's talk about your high school team, Palmdale. Like, how did you join the team? Did you make it through the first tryout?
Yeah, that was crazy. We had a tryout, and I was late for something. I had to get something done. We had to get a physical, so you have to make sure you were healthy enough to play. And I had to do it last minute, so I remember I left school, and in the middle school, I left school, the doctor right across the street, and I went there and I got a physical, and I came to the first day of tryout. I came late, like 15 minutes late. The coach, I think he already kind of knew who I was. You know, we had a lot of hype. You know, basketball is really hype, especially in California. And so I knew I had to perform. I knew I had to do my thing. So I came into practice, and I just played like never before. And I remember this moment. And I think it was impressive enough because I ended up playing half the season with the freshman team, and then I moved up to the varsity. So, and it worked out at the end of the day.
Like, about your teammates, like, did you make it to the pros as well?
Yeah, I got a lot of former and past teammates that made it to the pros, especially at the college level. From high school, you know the numbers. You know, it's not so many players that can make it. A lot of players made it to college and did their thing in college. A few of us made it pro. You know, I mean, we all have respect. Most of the players, I can't imagine not making pro. They were so good. You know, I mean, some of the players were unbelievable, and you can't say any of us that made it pro were the best players. You know, this type of group. But at the end of the day, a few of us made it to a professional level. So we still talk about it.
So just feel like high school career. So how did it go? Did you like average many points? Did you win any championships?
Yeah, we did all that stuff, man. high school was fun. High school set it all up. Before us was a group of superstars, and we were young and we were watching these guys, and they pretty much showed us everything we needed, and we kind of just followed their role, trying to be like those guys. I mean, I would throw out some names. Mike Hamlin. Mike Hamlin was like the Michael Jordan of high school. He was insane, and he was kind of a mentor for me.
All right.
And yeah, so our high school days, man. I mean, we had some of the best shooters, some of the best dunkers, some of the best shot blockers, and I was one of those guys. I can do my thing, Back then, it was athletic, a little bit more athletic than now, and dunk and fly around and stuff like that. But we had fun. That was for sure. So high school kind of set it off. On a professional level, it was a little bit different. Only a few guys make it pro. A lot of guys got a chance to go overseas and play some basketball, but that's the life of the basketball, yeah.
Let's just talk about like your college. I read that you went to Cal State Northridge.
Yeah.
Your primary choice. Did they offer you a scholarship? Did you get any other offers to go to?
Yeah, I had a few offers. I had a few D1 offers. I had like a couple colleges that really went hard. I went to Northridge. I chose Northridge like every other player. I trusted what they were doing, and I knew one thing, that I wanted to play right away. And the coaches at Northridge, Coach Bobby Braswell, and Eddie Hill, he's the guy who recruited me. They told me, you got a chance to play right away, and that was kind of the main point. And that's kind of actually what happened. When I got to college, they let me do my thing right away.
Oh, right, yeah. I thought, because like for a young player, like most sports won't, but if you ain't getting the minutes, if you ain't getting game experience, like
yeah.
Played. Which division did you?
I played D1. It was Division I. We played in the Big West Conference, and then before the Big West Conference was the Big Sky Conference. Big Sky is like northern part of America, Utah, Idaho, all the way up Washington. Big West was more West Coast style, and we had Long Beach State, UC Irvine, a lot of good colleges, yeah. And we won the competition. We won the championship in the Big Sky Conference when I was a junior. It's also the same season I led the nation in assists. And we went to the NCAA tournaments, and we played against the University of Kansas. Yeah, that was kind of like a Cinderella season for us. We also beat UCLA. We also beat other teams, the big time teams, Pepperdine. I think we were one of the higher ranked teams in the West Coast at the time.
Oh, okay, that sounds great. And what was it like biggest, like your biggest accomplishment as a team in college? Did you like ever go to this March Madness thing? Did you make it there?
Yeah, man, we went to the March Madness, to the NCAA, and yeah, that's where we ended up playing the University of Kansas in the first round, and it was crazy. Kansas beat us up really good. I think they ended up going to the finals. They might have lost to Syracuse or something like that, or Carmelo Anthony. I can't remember, but we dominated our conference. We won the championship, and one of our guys, our center, was All-American. It was Brian Heinley. He was insane. He can shoot threes, pass, totally awesome player, and he was one of our leaders. And we got a lot of guys who can just play ball, and we had a team. We had a really good group that year, really strong group.
And now I have some numbers, like to show the audience that you actually had a good career. So you had 9 assists per game, and you are the all-time assist and steals leader of your school. And you had one game where you had 11 steals. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. Yes.
And yeah, and you also made 3 All-Star teams, and not to mention you once shot 32 free throws in a row.
Oh, yeah, man. How did you find that?
Yeah, internet, man, Wikipedia.
I thought my stuff was outdated.
So let's just talk about college for a little more. So how do you like? What was your study? what did you study in college?
I studied communication studies, which is like a general area for journalism, for television, for radio, and whatever has to do with communications, even teaching. Yeah, and the area I went was radio, television.
Oh, all right.
I
So,
always thought that I would have something to do with the sport and entertainment business. So I went that way.
oh, all right. So that's cool. And let's talk about your career for a second. Like your coach in college, how much do you think he really? Did you learn a lot from him? Did he really affect your career in such a way where you think like without some things he told you, you couldn't have made it?
I think without everything my coach told me, I wouldn't have made it. I mean, that's the reason that they had the NBA issue, you know, that players should go to college. I'm not sure if they should go to college, if they're already ready for the NBA, okay, whatever. But you learn a lot in college. You learn a lot of the details. And you also, you get used to a certain type of environment. You know, you have a lot of people approaching you, a lot of things happening, you know. So you gotta, I think it's a way to get ready for the NBA. And of course, when you play college basketball, you get like myself, I got a college scholarship. You got to perform, you know, and everybody has to do their job. Coaches have to do their job to make us better, and we have to be the best we can be. So going to college is like one of the top lessons for me as a basketball player. I learned everything I know as a player, and even things today I do from my college days as a coach.
All right, you just answered my next question because that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Like, if players should be like allowed. I mean, I still think they should be allowed, but yeah, overall, like they should go to college because like you hear those stories where like some 16-year-old kid, he's like, dude, I had 35 points my last game. Like I'm ready for the NBA, man. I don't need college. Like I'm old enough, you know, and it kind of makes me laugh.
Well, I mean, I guess that was the problem. Too many dudes thought they were good enough for me for the NBA, you know. But I mean, I'm sure that it's proven. There are a few that can do it, you know, and they should just keep that limited. But college experience, man, it's crazy. It's one of it's one of the best things. You remember this forever, you know. And the things I did at college, not only on the court, you know, in the classroom, off the court, hanging, meeting people, and the whole social aspect of it was phenomenal. Now I'm sure that every player's dream is to go to NBA, and if they can skip college to go for the money, you know, that's what they're doing. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I'm saying, especially in today's society. But the experience you get from college, the experience you get from just having that type of life, every player who went to college remembers it forever, you know, whether it was a good or bad experience. You know. It's all about that, you know, for me. I don't care. I don't care if they're good enough to go to NBA. I think they should go. You know, but they got to know it somehow. You know. Yeah.
All right, so like you finish your like you get this like you get graduated, you finish your college career in like in 2003, and so what was your plan like afterwards? Like about
Um,
your career, did you wanted to chase a dream?
yeah, my plan was to go to NBA, and I was there, kind of. You know, I had my opportunities. We had an NBA agency. I was signed to. My college coach introduced me to a agent, Jerome Stanley. We had we had crazy. He had like Baron Davis on his roll, you know,
Oh,
Dennis
big
Rodman.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah, big names.
also other sports, and then he had Markus Carr, you know, with me, and so we went that route, you know. And I had my tryouts, and I think at the time. A lot of things went well. You know, it's a lot of other things around basketball that matters. You know, and timing and just being in the right place at the right time is the most important. For me, I was able to go there and try out and work out with the teams and play against crazy players, see how they work out, and drink the water. That's what they say. You was able to drink the water, you know,
Yeah.
and experience it, you know. But it was tough, you know. But all along, I had in the back of my head that I wanted to go overseas for sure and try that.
So you're watching this 2003 draft, which went down like as one of the best drafts ever, because there were like so many good players which got drafted that year, like LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony. So I mean, it was tough to get in at that time.
Exactly.
So you're watching the draft and you don't hear your name. So what was your first thought, and like what was your plan? Like, did you know like right away that you're gonna go overseas and still chase that basketball dream, and not working 9 to 5? Was it what were your thoughts?
Well, I knew because of the type of season we had. I was the only senior. We finished third in the conference. I had good numbers, and stuff like that. But it wasn't the type of season we had my junior year. My junior year, where we won the conference, it was the same year I led the nation in assists. There was much more hype, yeah. And of course, to get an NBA and stuff like that, the hype is needed. The press and all that stuff. We had a bunch of hype because of the season before, but we didn't quite finish the same. And so my hype wasn't the same the following season as it was the year before, which I think, could have helped be the reason why I didn't get drafted. I was watching the draft. I was talking to my agent. I had a chance. It all depended on another pick or whatever, and I had my other chances at the tryouts. So I was watching the draft. I didn't have no real expectations. I wasn't mad or anything. I was actually who was I with? I think I was with somebody who got drafted, whether it was that year or the year before, Gilbert Arenas, and he was mad because he got drafted in the second round. So, yeah, for me it was like, okay, I'll try it another way. Let's other way.
All right, yeah, you mentioned the thing like you have to be at the right place at the right time, and like I think personally, I mean that's a big skill. Like that's a legit skill for a basketball player who is like not like Kobe or LeBron, who has to fight his way through. That's a legit skill, like to talk to the right people, meet the right people, have a good conversation with the right agent,
Yeah.
with the agent who's also good. I mean that's a skill, and like people underestimate that.
Definitely.
Because like there are some players playing like in the EuroLeague or something, or even in the NBA. I mean, the NBA maybe it's not a good example, but in the EuroLeague, man, there are just some bum players out there. Like Bamberg in 2012, 13, I think 13-14 season, they had Zachary Wright. He was a guard and he was shooting 40%, not from the 3-point line, from the free throw line, man. I mean, that's ridiculous, and they waived him. So I'm like, oh, that's good. They got rid of that bum, and then he joins Panathinaikos. I'm like laughing. I'm like, dude, what's going on?
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of players get that hype, man, and once they get their hype, they can live for a long time. And teams, they follow the hype. It's a lot of marketing. There's a lot of planning behind just the actual games itself. They have to sell tickets, and clothes, and stuff like that, and highlight tapes on board.
yeah.
So, and to the credit of some of these guys, it's hard to make the transition sometimes from NBA to overseas. High-level basketball, college, overseas. Overseas, it's very tricky. And only the guys who played a few years know it. You got to get adjusted to a lot of things, and even the NBA players come here and struggle. And even though they don't want to admit it, there's a lot of differences. Even here in Austria, we know it. If an NBA player came here, it's probably harder than if he was playing in the NBA, not because of the skill level, because of all the adjustments he has to make as a player. Just to get used to it. So to credit those guys, a lot of them, this is just not, shooting, okay, he should shoot more. You know what I'm saying? 40% from the free throw line. There's no excuse for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, earning some bucks. So yeah, like your first foreign team, like not overseas, but like you played in Venezuela. Like how did it end up happening?
Yeah, I had an agent who had a connection in Venezuela. I was playing in Austria, and I had to leave at the end of the season. I wanted to just have the type of career where I played in Europe during the regular season and in South America during the summers, so that I can keep my game on and stuff like that. So Venezuela kind of happened like that. It's like, yeah, let's keep it going. I had a lot of guys who I trained with that played professional basketball when I was in college, and they showed me. They kind of was like, yeah, we do this. We go here, whether it's Venezuela or any other South American country, and Brazil or Argentina, and then they come back to the regular season. A lot of guys still do that now.
Oh, all right. Oh, so you played. So I thought your first pro team was in Venezuela. So you played in Austria beforehand?
Yeah, yeah. It was the same season. So yeah, after I finished in Austria, I went to Venezuela first.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So, but like, so your first country where you played after college was Austria. So because like I haven't.
Okay, yeah. So I was
Those,
in the D League and then Development League,
all right.
and I was playing with a team called, it was in Alabama, some old country town. I don't even know.
So it was right after you didn't get drafted. You joined the D League.
Yeah, so I didn't get drafted to NBA. I got drafted to the D League.
All right.
And pretty high. I joined the team, and I was with the team and trying to work my way up back to the NBA status or to the NBA level. And I remember just thinking about how much I wanted to go overseas. And so I gave my agent a call in the middle. You know, it was a lot of politics. I was playing with a boxer. What is this guy's name? Roy Jones Jr. He's a famous boxer. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, Roy Jones. Of course I know Roy Jones, man. Like, yeah.
Anyway,
His mimics. Everybody knows them.
this guy was on my team, and you know, he's a boxer. At the time, he was like at his prime, and he's from Alabama, so he was there to sell tickets. Let's put it that way. And he was playing more than me. Now, I was for sure a basketball player more than he was at the time. He was a boxer who could kind of play basketball, but I understood the marketing behind him being on that team, and he was a totally cool guy, stand up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So I wasn't mad at him. I was just kind of mad at the situation that a guy like him. And then we had like a Ray for Austin, you know, Skip to my Lou on my team, you know. And so the politics in the development league and the D League for me was a little bit harder than it was if I would have went straight to NBA. You know what I'm saying? So because I had these mentors like Adonis Jordan, who played in the NBA, he played overseas many years. He's right now in Australia running a big program for youth. Because I had mentors like him, I was
Right.
easily able to say, yeah, I want to go to Europe. I wasn't one of those guys that was not looking forward to going to Europe and you know, not being away from home. I was kind of ready enough for it. And so my focus changed from the NBA to Europe because I knew what type of career you can have. You know, yeah, of course you get millions of dollars in the NBA and stuff like that. But it was just about having a career and making a good living.
Yeah, that's an important part. So after the D League, which team did you join in what country?
Austria, I went to Oberweitersdorf, which is near Baden, outside of Vienna.
All right.
That was the first team. And then after that year, I went to Venezuela. And then I came back and I went to Hungary and Czech.
Oh, all right. But let's just tell me about your first experience in Europe, because like your plane lands and you go out of the airport, and what was your first thought? Like, oh, I'm gonna be able to live here, or no way, I need a ticket back.
Not at all. I landed in Vienna from LA. And I remember I had no jacket. You know, we never had a jacket in LA. It was like November, ice, cold.
Yeah.
Snow was crazy. And then I remember, okay, I was thinking Vienna's a nice city. And then we drove through Vienna. And then we drove to Oberweitersdorf, which is the door. And I was like, okay. And all I remember was I had a roommate, a teammate, who was a roommate at the time. His name was Ramis Stojanovic. He played at Costa Nuremberg until last season. I think he just retired. And I saw him and another guy named Ivan Brasko, who's from Czech. They were the first two guys I saw. And I was thinking, okay, now maybe up. So I was ready. I was ready to rock.
But like, what did you face like living difficulties because you didn't speak German? I guess. And
yeah.
how tough was that part?
Yeah, of course. The transition was crazy. Yeah, to try to speak German. I remember I couldn't get milk. You know, I couldn't say milk. And nobody understood me. That was one experience. I remember just everything. Just the first thing I remember I wanted to say, forget about it. I'm going back. Yeah, I'm going back. I'm gonna try the NBA again, like this. And I called my agent, and he was like, "Yo, Marcus, if you can make it through the first 3 months, then you're good."
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try 3 months, man. At 3 months, if it's not good, I'm out. So now I live in Austria,
Okay, we all know like the rest is history, as they say.
basically.
Actually, like I won't discuss the topic. Like I read your blog and I saw that video you filmed. You have one where you talk about, like people trying to make it safe, to play it safe.
Yeah.
And not to really, they don't really chase their dreams and goals which they have inside their heart. And like, how did you come up with the idea? Did you see like some people who just live as this simple, this like quote unquote normal life, like working 9 to 5, but they don't really like it? Like, how did you come up? What was your idea behind this video? What did you want to tell to
Well,
people?
the idea behind the video, it wasn't just my idea. It was a creative group kind of thing, and we all had input. It was two guys from Slovenia who do really great stuff. One is Ante Osterman. He's a photographer, but he's doing really good stuff around the world in really nice magazines. And the other guy is Mitch Miryak, and he's more of a computer kind of guy, techie guy, does photography, does programming, does a lot of cool stuff, videos. And we've known each other for years, since some time ago. And so they wanted to do a project where they hosted me, and that was just kind of like the whole creative process. I think this is more what they saw in me, yeah, and it kind of confirmed for me what it was, yeah. So I was able to say my words. I was basically more talking about the idea of having to work and having to and being forced to live a certain life that other people respect. And I just think it's like up to yourself as a person to do your own thing and make other people respect you, what you do. And this is very important. So a lot of people don't see it that way. So I'm not mad. I just let them do their thing. And a lot of people don't understand the way people like me work. But at the end of the day, they see it. They see it. So it works out.
Yeah, but like talking about that quote, I think that quote was really deep. Like people trying to play it safe, because I think you have some like which were from Sun Valley, and they're still there, and I don't know, they just didn't have many experiences in life, and you really bounced around the world, and now you live in a different country.
Yeah, but like that quote was more meant for, yeah, okay, these guys trying to play it safe, but I'm not sure if these guys were trying to play it safe. I'm sure they were trying to do the same thing. They just ended up where they are. That quote was more for the everyday average person who is pretty much being like controlled in systematic way. So following a system and not really following their own way. Now, if a part of a system is your own way, that's fine. Nobody's tripping. In some kind of way, we all have to do a systematic way. But it's more towards people who just want to do their own thing, and that's it. They just want to enjoy what they do and do their own thing, and willing to go through everything necessary to make it happen. So, a lot of people want to do something, but they don't. They're scared. They're scared to break their routine, or they're too comfortable. Or
Yeah, kind of scared of what their friends would say, their
or,
family. I mean, it's tough.
yeah, and sometimes it is a risk, but some people just don't take that risk. They don't stand up to it, and it's not a good or bad thing. It's just a story. It's just you have the decision, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you on that one, because like I don't know, like we're not here to judge people, because they can only be judged by God. So if someone is living like a different lifestyle you probably hate, or you can't imagine yourself doing that, you shouldn't blame them or something, or say they're an asshole
Exactly.
just because they're not living the life you envision.
Yeah. And plus, the world is filled with too many haters anyway. You see what's going on. So that petty stuff they should leave alone.
So yeah, all right. So let's talk about your BC Vienna career, because I'm a BC Vienna fan. So I can't skip that part.
BC Vienna was for sure like one of the most best times of my basketball life. in terms of my basketball career. Yeah, that was a good time.
So yeah, tell me a Stasic story.
How many?
Yeah, I mean just the best ones, like the most funny and depressing ones.
The most funniest story,
Yeah.
man. Okay, on the court, you mean?
Yeah, on the court.
I'm gonna keep it on the court. That's for sure. The most funniest story. This is hard. Can we go can we go to another question? Let me think. I remember.
All right.
Stepan has a lot of funny stories. I have to think of the most funny, and not
All
in a
right,
bad
so
way. Step is a funny guy.
yeah, I mean I admire the guy. People say so much shit about him. It's like incredible.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like
Step likes to do his thing, his own way, and that's like kind of what we was talking about before. You know, people like to hate on it. So.
yeah, I mean like I was like I remember it's 2011. I was living in Vienna because I don't live in Vienna anymore, and I was like, come on guys, let's go to BC Vienna games. They're like, dude, that old douchebag Stasic, he's old, he can't play. I'm like, man, he's amazing. Like, because like I really looked up to him at the time. I mean,
Right.
I think he's a great player, and he's one of the best players Austria has ever had. And people just don't give him respect, you know.
Right.
I mean, that kind of pisses me off. But you always have those people in all the different areas of life where they've actually done a lot, but they just have a bad reputation for some reason.
Yeah, that's what I liked about Stepan. One of the main things that he likes to overcome the mentalities. You know, certain mentalities. People think a certain way, and they always will. You know, and he was just he kind of looked past that, and then he kept doing his own thing. You know, a lot of people don't agree, you know, with that type of stuff. But who cares, man? You know, you got to accept the guy for who he is and what he does. And for sure, what he did on the court. You know, he, like you said, one of the most amazing players I've ever played with, I've ever seen. You know, of course, now he's getting a little bit older.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost 40. He's still playing. I mean, you have to like
he's
you have to.
playing on a high level. So that you're definitely right. You got to give respect, much respect.
So yeah, let's talk about this famous game where he had 13 3-pointers, and a lot of them were from your assist. So like talking about like the warm up. Did you notice something? Like was he making every shot at the warm ups?
At that time, you never knew what Stepan was going to do. You never knew if he wanted to pass, if he wanted to shoot, if he wanted to play point guard. You know, you never knew. He just kind of like, this was the beginning. You know, he just kind of was trying to find his way too. But there was one thing for sure, that game, that we as a team, the players was, I don't know if we were on our top focus. You know, we were kind of like, we play goosing. And credit to Goosing, now they're a really good team. But this was also their beginning, you know. And so it was kind of a good matchup for us. But we thought we had the advantage of it. I think Stepan saw something different than us. I think he was like, okay, the team is kind of not ready. I'm ready, you know. And I know it started at the beginning, you know. Bing, bing, just started hitting threes. And we kind of got on his level that game. And then he, like you said, 13 threes. And a lot of my assists, I think most of his points that season went from my assists because we had a good communication.
You know? Yeah.
And of course, it was the beginning. A lot of young players. We had definitely good players, but like that.
So yes, so after the 2010-2011 season, you kind of retired for like half a year.
Yeah, I had an injury to my back, and
all right.
I had to sit out for a while, which turned out to be a really good thing because in that time, that's when I came up with my partner, Lucas Laska in Vienna. We came up with, at that time, my partner, we came up with crossovernation, the whole idea. So, yeah, it was kind of one of those things. Yeah. I got hurt. I was getting older. Yeah, things was going down, and I was looking to do other things as well. I wanted to really bring a camp to Austria, and that was the perfect time when I was pretty much out there.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about crossovernation a bit later, but yeah, I remember like the first time I saw you in person was that Gmunden game, like where BC Vienna played Gmunden, and Stasic hit those 2 miracle threes, and they just beat them. That was the game where like I became a real fan of it. That was my first game I watched them play live, and I was like so amazed. I was like, whoa,
okay,
that's awesome.
Okay.
Basketball in Vienna isn't dead because at that time they didn't win the title for like 20 years.
Right. Right. Yeah. I was gonna ask you when was the first time you came to a game. I was curious about that.
Oh
I know you. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? I wasn't sure how old you were. I looked in your Facebook.
Yeah, no, I'm 20.
20. All right, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So you must have been around 15 or something.
15,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I was 15 years old. And then in the beginning, like at that season, you actually like you started playing, like you joined the team in the middle of the season. I remember.
Yeah.
But you only played like in the second half. Like, was it because you weren't in shape or you couldn't like make it through the whole 40 minutes?
That could be possible. I'm not even sure. I know Vienna brought me back a few times to the club.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of like, you ready? Come on, bing, you know. And they knew it, and we knew it. We had to build some. We had to use some time that I get back to top shape and stuff like that. So this could have been one of those moments. I'm pretty sure.
All right. So that were the only games where I saw you play like in real life. Like I saw your mixtapes, but those two games they were the only ones. Cause like afterwards I left.
Okay.
So I mean it's a shame I couldn't see them win the championship. Cause it really pissed me off. It pissed me off till this day. Cause like next season they won the championship, but I wasn't there. I left.
Yeah.
I left Vienna in 2012 in spring, but I
Okay.
was still following. And they had those. They were playing in this huge arena, like 3,000 people. Winning a championship, like celebrating, yeah, like, and everybody became a fan, like bandwagon.
You know how it is. You know how it is. I was there. I was there as well. I wasn't playing, but I was the what they call it, the Hallensprecher. Hallensprecher. I was on the microphone, the announcer for the games.
Oh,
So that's what I mean. With BC, I had a really nice connection. Even after I played, I did coached the team for a while, and I was a Hallensprecher for about 2.5 years. So I saw the championship run, Sean Ray and all those guys.
yeah, they had a great team that year. That was their best team they've ever
Yeah.
put together.
So
So
at the
many good
beginning,
players, so many like players which have proven their skill over the years. Because I think that's the tougher part. Because there are like a lot of players that playing some good games and then they just leave Austria.
yeah,
Like you never see them again, and you see some bounce playing and
yeah.
just not very good. So I guess afterward, like you joined Riders Villa for one season, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And did you play in the first Austrian league or in the second?
This was in the Zweite.
Oh, all right.
I agreed to coach the U16 and under 14 teams in Fila as
All
a
right.
coach, as a youth coach. And during the season, I wasn't playing. At the beginning of the season, I wasn't playing with the team, and they started off 0-7, and they
Oh,
desperately needed some help. So at that moment, we had a meeting and we talked, and yeah, okay. We decided, okay, I will play, and they added another player, Tobias Gales. Paul Gales, he's playing. I think he's playing with the Swans Munda now, and with him and myself, we were able to, and I think they added a few more players to change things around. I think we won 7 straight games, something like that. So playing with Filak was more of a decision to help the team, help the situation. And I was there anyway. I was coaching, and we did. I think we did some good stuff. We went to the Final Four, had a good season. Wasn't one of my best seasons. Actually, I was already kind of retired in my head.
all right.
But we kind of talked about playing before the season. I did all the tryouts and stuff. I met the team, but still wasn't so sure at the beginning of the season. And then after this terrible start, I joined the team, and we started rocking out a little bit. So I just played one season there, and got back to focusing on the basketball camps and everything.
So all right. So yeah, let's talk about your project Crossover Nation because I think it's great because like you popularized basketball in Austria because basketball is not really developed. I mean, it's getting better now, especially with like Turtle making it to the NBA. That's gonna help the popularity. And I mean, just in general, like the promotion of sports is great. So, like people who engage in that area, I mean, like, I have a lot of respect for them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about like how do you come up with the idea for the camp? How did it all start?
Well, I went to an event I was playing with BC Vienna, and we had to do a lot of events with kids, a lot of school events we had to go to. And we went to one event, which was at the stadium in second district, I think. And there was a big basketball. It was a multi-sport event. There was a lot of sports stuff going on. And at the time, already I had in my head that I wanted to try to do a basketball camp. Initially, I wanted to try to do it with BC Vienna, but at that time, there was a new start. I think it was too much going on. And so I asked who was organizing the event there, and it was Lucas Laska. It was like, this guy, his name is Lucas. So I walked over to Lucas, said, "You want to make a basketball camp?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Yes." And okay. And of course, we didn't know each other. We had to get to know each other and talk and do everything. But we started kind of planning right away. Started sending ideas. And the first thing was to think about a name. Yeah, I was just sitting at home, kind of thinking about what I do best, or what I've done best, passing and all this stuff. But crossovernation, it was kind of the perfect name. It kind of has more than one idea at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, coming up with a name for any project right now is pretty tough, because like you come up with a name and then you type it on Google and there are like 10 companies already.
Yeah.
So that's a tough part.
Well, I mean, after the nation part, I start seeing a bunch of other nations popping up around. It was like Laker Nation, now it's the Warriors Nation, Raider Nation. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I think it was a good idea. But crossover nation for us meant not just the move crossover. It's the whole idea of crossing over from America to Europe. So,
that's a deep meaning.
Yeah. Just the whole idea of integration and sports and entertainment. That's what we built here in Austria, basically, with our campaign.
So how many camps do you host per year right now? Like how many camps have you hosted this year, like to this moment?
Well, camps, we have actually one main camp, which is the Austria All-Star Edition camp, cross-overnation camp. We've been doing this the last 5-6 summers, and this is the main camp. But in between, there's other camps. There's new ideas we have now coming, the elite camp. We've seen in the past a lot of players, they really want to get better. Now with guys like Jakob in the NBA, Jacob Toto in the NBA, it's probably opening some doors, opening some eyes, and this is what was needed. A lot of people needed to see that there was a goal at the end, not just Austrian First League, but maybe somewhere in Italy or even the NBA. And now that it's definitely possible, because Jakob is one of the few Europeans who made it to NBA in the last draft, and therefore he's representing Austria in a major one. So now that happened, it opened up a lot of doors, and let's see what happens. I think a lot more should be done from the league. They're doing a great job of promoting the league, but there's a few things that needs to be done.
So actually, like when let's say you meet a parent, and he's an Austrian parent, and his kid is like 10 years old, and the parent is thinking which sport should he, should his kid play? Like which arguments would you use to convince him to convince him that his kid should play basketball and should join your camp? What would be your argument?
At the end of the day, you got to leave it up to the kid to decide, and they usually decide based on what they like, And for me, if a kid plays soccer, or if a kid skis, or if a kid swims, they would like basketball. When a kid plays sports, they don't necessarily just like one sport. They become interested in the one they like the most. And a lot of times, kids, when they start learning basketball and learning how to play and even just hanging around guys like myself, especially when I'm coaching them, they like the whole idea behind it, and they start to like it more and more. I've seen a lot of kids who just like to play a lot of sports, and basketball became one of them, and that was pretty much it. So I didn't really, when I speak to the parents, I just say, you can see it, the kids are like, yeah, I'll try it, kind of like that. And when it's on that level, all they have to do is just show up, and then the rest is up to them. And the parents say, hey, they liked it a lot. They want to come back. They want to learn more. Cool, what you're doing, and we kind of just do it that way.
So, So how did your camp grow overall? Like how many kids do you have like coming on average to your biggest camp now?
Well, we got the biggest camp. We had a maximum of about 70 kids. Yeah, and then they stay 1 week overnight, and we give them all the entertainment. They play basketball tournament. They go swimming. They do barbecues. They have a camp party. They work out. They run, and it's a combination of fun and basketball stuff. And this camp usually gets the most. And actually, we have a lot of international kids coming from all over Europe. So Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland. We have kids coming from USA. We have kids coming from all around. It's a big international environment. Yeah. The staff is crazy. We have also international staff. The directors of the camp are twin brothers, Dan and Mike Upland. They both actually played in Austria before.
Yeah, for Swans, I know.
Yeah,
I know them.
They direct the camp. We have one girl a female coach from Slovenia. Her name is Katarina Ristic, and she's a superstar basketball player. Another one from Russia who played with Dynamo and a lot of NBA, WNBA players. And that's the main part. It's not even just about me. I'm there as well, but we have a crazy staff. We have Ying Wu. We have guys like he's from Vienna. He's from every camp, and he's kind of a legend. And it's just for the kids, it's crazy. So.
Oh, actually, I thought you were one of the directors and owners of this camp.
Yeah, I'm the owner of the camp. I organize the camp, but we do it in a way that it's more of a social environment. So I let a lot of people put their ideas and inputs into it. You know what I'm saying? Like I set up the platform. Obviously, do a lot of the background work and get the location and finding sponsorships and partners and all that thing. But a lot of people help out, man. This camp is more of a project that if it wasn't for everybody involved, it definitely wouldn't work. You know what I'm saying? I do many camps where I can host up to a certain amount of kids alone myself, which is what I do between the main camp. But without the staff, it just definitely wouldn't work. So it's definitely a big project, a roundabout project. I just have to focus on how the theme should be, what the kids will do throughout the week, and what's the most important aspect to learn and have fun.
Oh, that's great. I mean, yeah, it's tough setting up a good camp, and I mean, you just need a lot more than just basketball, because it's gonna get grueling on the third day if it's just pure basketball and nothing else.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's just give a quick overview. So which tips would you give to a US player who is gonna play overseas? How he should survive in Europe? What are the main things?
Yeah, to be patient. Number one thing is to be patient. A lot of different things to adjust to. Not just like the basketball, but the culture, the lifestyle, the mentality. And a lot of players expect things to go a certain way. Whether it's getting paid on time or something like that, or somebody saying something that hurt their feelings or whatever, and that if they come to Europe, that they should be patient, and be ready to make any adjustments they need to. Not to say that everything's going to be bad, it's not a bad experience coming here. You don't always not get paid, stuff like that, but these things do happen. So the main thing is to be patient. People are going to probably challenge them in a lot of ways, and to just be ready to make those adjustments. And these are the players who have longer careers. Don't quit. Don't quit in the first year. It's just very important to try to stay. And the same advice I got, try to make it past 3 months.
Yeah.
This is the main tip, I think. And if they can do these things, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Make the money. They have experience. They can travel, and this is important for a lot of players.
All right. So actually, have you played for the Austrian national team?
No, I never played for the Austrian national. I was going to try a few years ago to play, but then that was right when I had this back injury. So after that, just kind of left it alone. And I'm still American. I still have the U.S. Citizenship, but I'm able to live in Austria and work in Austria as long as I want. So.
All right. So let's just talk about your family. Like, how did you meet your wife and where she's from?
My wife is from Corinthia, Austria. We met in Vienna some 15 years ago or something like that when I first came to Austria. And
Oh,
we stayed connected. We stayed friends for a long time before we actually even got together. And then I would come back every summer and hang out, and then I don't know, we met in that way. Now we have a daughter, 4-year-old. Her name is Jamie. She's also a little athlete, a little entertainer as well, but definitely a happy person in life. And we live in Corinthia, in Austria, and in the near
oh,
future.
all right. So let's just to finish off the podcast, let's just talk about the NBA. Like, do you follow the league frequently? What are your favorite teams or players?
Yeah, man, I'm following the league. I'm still a Laker fan. Lakers, Lakers kind of corny right now, but they're actually kind of balling right now, to be honest.
Yeah, Mozgov, the Russian guy, because I'm Russian.
Yeah, I think they still need to be a little bit more professional. They haven't too much. I don't
Too
know.
much showcase, you know.
It's not ready yet. It's not ready for all that show. Even though they playing nice, if they can continue, I'm a Laker fan all day. I like the Clippers, but I like to watch a lot of players. Of course, I like to watch Cleveland. I like to watch Golden State, Clippers. I like to watch. Uh, and I stay up on it. I definitely stay up on the NBA stuff. College, not so much anymore. I'm losing track of college.
Yeah, you just don't have the same college hype in Europe.
Yeah,
Because like it took me like 2-3 years to realize like how big college basketball actually is, and it is actually fun to watch it.
yeah, definitely.
Because I'm like, my friends would be like, "Oh, we are watching college," and I'm like, "Why are you watching those guys? They aren't even pros."
College, for a lot of people, college is much more exciting, and it definitely is exciting in a lot of ways, especially when you get all that hypeness from all the young kids jumping around in the hall. But like, it's
Oh,
definitely not easy to keep up with, especially overseas.
yeah. Actually, I had one big question which I forgot to ask about college. Do you think college athletes and especially basketball players should get paid? Because when there is the Final Four of the NCAA, they have like 20,000 people in the arena, and all of those TV coverage, the advertisements,
So why not?
and players actually not getting a single penny.
Yeah, I mean, they try to use the argument that the players get enough from scholarship and free education and free this, free that, food or whatever, but something with the money needs to be done. Either they send it to their families or they put it in a pension for them later on in life if they
Yeah.
follow if they graduate or whatever. They could definitely hook up the players because as of right now, some board, it's getting chipped off for money for this big entertainment, and it's a huge multi-million dollar entertainment industry, even at the smallest one. So I think, yeah, I don't know if they should get definitely paid, but they should get taken care of for sure.
Yeah, that's my opinion as well. Because I've also heard this argument that they're, getting like a free education, they
Yeah,
live there for free, blah blah blah. But at the end
they
of the
get
day,
a free education to get a free job to get some free taxes back. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. That's fine. We get it. But at the end of the day, they're getting a lot of money off these guys. Uh, a lot of big businesses going on behind the business. And come on, why not? Why not? Because some of these guys are super phenomenal athletes. The whole world is watching. You know,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
that's views, baby. That's views. That's
All
all you
right.
need.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, just one point I want to mention to you about the NBA, and especially about the modern point guard play. So, like nowadays, like that that guy with number 30 on the Golden State, like he just puts up a lot of threes. And I mean, he makes them, and it's amazing. He shoots a lot of tough jump shots. A lot of times when he's guarded really close, he still shoots and makes it. And in my opinion, they're just bad for the game. Like a lot of young kids would watch him, and I would see a lot of like 10, 12-year-old point guard just jacking up shots
Yeah.
and thinking, oh, one day they're going to become Steph Curry. But I mean, he's one of the few who can play that way and who
Yeah.
really succeeded. No?
I think you're right, man.
How do you think? Yeah, how do you think he influences the game, and
He
is it
takes
good
a
or
lot.
bad?
He definitely makes a lot of bad shots. So I mean, people are trying to make a lot of bad shots, which is not good, of course. You know what I'm saying? I think with Steph Curry, it's good. It's excellent. It's dope that we got a player that can take bad shots and make them all day. You know, and the good shots are like guaranteed. I think that's dope for the game. You know, I think it's dope for the NBA too. Maybe it pushes kids. You know, and I've also noticed that a lot of people shooting better now, and that's because of Steph. You know, you got to step your game up. You know, like people seeing that. You know, and a lot of people focusing on a jump shot. What I don't think they should do is run around dribbling around cones and stuff and doing all this flippy stuff all around. I think they should do that as well, but I think they're too focused on that stuff. So just like the only positive point I can find in Steph Curry jacking up shots is that he's making.
Yeah, it's good for
Yeah.
his team.
And if a kid can really try to really train his shot, not just a kid that's just throwing them up. Like we know these guys, you know, they not even kids do that, even older guys just throwing stuff up. But if a kid can really train himself to really try to make these shots, okay, this might be a cool thing. Because this for sure the next Steph Curry is coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a whole evolution. Like, I mean, like just any game evolves, but basketball especially. Like, if you compare, if you watch basketball from the 80s, you probably have no idea what you're watching because like the game is just so different.
Yeah.
Like back in the 80s, a lot of centers. I mean, like even like 60s, 70s, a lot of centers dominated the league. So you needed like a dominant center. And nowadays, it's more about small ball, all about those quick point guards and shooting guards. You can, make tough jump shots.
Well, I mean, then you got all these other guys like LeBron James, you know, Barnes, dudes, Kobe's, you know, dudes who's almost bigger centers, you know, all like Magic Johnson, you know, and that's the difference, you know. Even dudes like Leonard, you know, from Spurs would have dominated back in those days, you know, just off his size and athleticism. So you got a mix of that stuff. Like big guys are starting to shoot better, you know.
Yeah.
Overall, they can shoot threes. I don't know how many big guys are shooting threes now better than the guys. You know what I mean? You know, you
Yeah,
got
of course, of course.
and that's the evolution of the game right there, I think. You know, and the modern guard is just the same thing. You know, now it's Russell Westbrook. They dunking on dudes, yo. They're not finger rolling no more. They're not shooting a reverse layup. They're dunking on them, you know, and or they shooting mad threes like Steph, you know, or they Chris Paul in it, you know, just dominating the whole game. And that's just part of the evolution. You got to get like that.
Yeah, of course, sure. But let's just also talk about the biggest move of the summer, and it's like Durant joining the team in Auckland.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about this when you first heard it?
So I want to see some craziness in the NBA too. You know, you know, it depends. You know, like from an outsider looking in, they say, "Oh my God, he left," but nobody knows what business or what kind of people he was dealing with or what was getting on his nerves there. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody knows. You know, and if you have the choice to leave a team, of course you're gonna pick the best opportunity for you. You know, you lost to him, and can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course you're gonna pick the best opportunity. I thought it was a good move. I thought it was a good move.
Oh, actually, I think, I mean, yeah, my opinion about that move was, I mean, Durant certainly has some smart agents and people who he has talked to before, like before making this move. But I mean, at the end of the day, he left one team which blew a 3-1 lead, in the playoffs to join another team which also blew a 3-1 lead. I mean, and
yeah, man.
I don't know. I mean, people loved him in OKC, but I think, I know. I mean, perhaps he wanted something, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. He just looks like a cover to me because I have a Durant shirt from Oklahoma.
Yeah, everybody got a Durant shirt from Oklahoma. He's like, wait, but like, what are we trying to prove here? Are we trying to prove to everybody else that you, I don't know, gonna stay with a team forever, no matter however they fuck you over, or whatever they do? I'm sorry, or whatever they do to you. Or the thing is, like, of course they lost to him, and of course this and all that stuff happened. But he just made the best decision for himself, I think. And Of course, he knew a lot of people was gonna hate on him. Of course, because it's like Michael Jordan. I didn't need Larry Bird to be, the Lakers and stuff. Of course you did, man. But the business is totally different now. You guys didn't even make as much money as these guys are making, and it was not even near half of the business transactions going on. And I think the dude made a good decision. I think.
Okay.
I wasn't hating on him at all, and a lot of media got on him. Yeah, because media is media anyway. But
yeah, they love conflict, just in general. Any conflict they can have.
And I think he has a bunch of pressure that he probably shouldn't have, to perform. Everybody knows he's good. Everybody knows he's dope. And now they're putting pressure on him that, like, for what, whatever. They still got to win games. Everybody else is getting better. I think Cleveland right now is still a better team than Golden State right now. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't matter that he joined. They lost a lot, in that transaction. And they lost some really key players. So they still got to get adjusted. And Durant didn't win any championships before he went to Golden State. So it doesn't even really matter. That's just another good player.
Okay.
Superstar.
All right. So yeah, we can talk about it forever, but
yeah, for sure.
Just there is one thing I wanted to ask you. Like, was like right now it's getting kind of mainstream to write those letters to your younger self. Once an NBA legend retires. So if you were about to do the same, like, what would you write?
A letter to my younger self.
Yeah, to the 13-year-old Markus Carr.
Oh my God, it'd be short and quick, I think. Keep going, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good phrase. That's definitely a good phrase.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, everything is cool, man. I mean, I like how everything went down. So if I would have wrote a letter to my younger self, yeah, keep going. Just keep it rocking. That's it.
All right. So, I mean, once again, Markus, thanks for coming on. You're my first guest.
So, and if you get Stepan on, you can ask him about the funny story.
Yeah. I mean, I texted him. He still didn't reply.
Okay. Well, just keep hitting him up.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for coming on. It was great to talk to you. Great to hear your points of view. Great to talk about your career. And especially like, it's always fun to ask an American who played overseas, like, how he sees the world right now and how it affected his life. So I think those stories are fascinating because Europe is so much different than the US.
Yeah.
It's like day and night. I mean, I haven't been to the US, but I think it's like day and night.
Well, if you watch the news, for sure. But at the end of the day, the people, a lot of adjustments you got to make. But it's just who you are and who you put yourself around. You are good.
So, all right, Justin, thanks once again for coming on, and let's just finish off. That was Markus Carr, American player who played for BC Vienna and had a great career, and now organizing basketball camps. Crossover Nation, baby.
Thanks, Constantine, man. That's what's up. Glad to be the first guest. Hope this jumps out. Man.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
All right, peace, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.